These men that are getting blindsided by divorce, we're seeing these stories more and more because women are getting fed up faster. Women are not accepting that tolerable level of permanent unhappiness, and they are leaving sooner. So this man posted in this divorce subreddit, and I know that people are like, giving him virtual hugs and everything in the comment section. But, my thoughts, because I've seen enough stories, I've talked to enough women comment on my posts all the time. I'm like, what did he do to get to this point, and how many times did he ignore his wife? Let's look at this post. Like I said, he posted this in the divorce subreddit saying, "Some days I just want to go back home." He says, "Today I dropped off my kid in my ex's apartment. She came down, smiled politely, said happy birthday to me like I was a nice neighbor she once knew, like she had to check it off her politeness chore list. I nodded, handed over the luggage. Our kid gave me a huge hug and a kiss. A real, truly heartfelt, happy birthday, my daddy. I love you." Just the kind that makes you want to freeze time. And then the door closed. Click. Now I'm home, alone, no cake this year, no family dinner, no "you're getting old" jokes. I just shut my kid's bedroom door because it hurts too much to see it open and empty and quiet. Click. Silence. I'd never say it out loud, but she looks incredible lately. Fit, composed, effortlessly beautiful. Not cruel, just distant, detached. Kind in a way that strangers are kind. Not like someone who shared my life for over a decade. Not like the mother of my child. Not like the dorky woman who I fell completely in love with all those years ago. Before I moved out, I made her a portrait. I'm an artist. The last thing I created. I painted her the way I saw her, radiant, strong, the center of our home, the best mom, my best friend, my home. On the back, I wrote that I didn't understand why this was happening, as she never actually told me, but I hoped we'd take some time, some space, and then be able to really talk, maybe even find a way back to each other. She never said a word, didn't even acknowledge it. She did offer me a polite hug when I left the house, and a soft bye, the kind that sounds more like an epithet than a goodbye. Made me feel like a fool. I guess I should be grateful I didn't have to salvage my art from the trash as I did with the rest of our wedding stuff. I haven't made anything since. Don't have the heart, as it was tossed in those garbage bags too. We co-parent well. No drama with the lawyers. From the outside, it probably looks easy, like we have it figured out, but like we are the epitome of what a good divorce looks like. But after drop-offs, I ugly cry in the car. I cry while I cook, during meetings, in the grocery store, when I hear them laugh together on FaceTime from the other room, every time I have my kid there. My therapist says I'm doing well. I guess this is what well looks like. Go me. But some days, like today, I miss my family so much I get dizzy, and the grief builds until it leaks from my face, and I just want to go back home. I just want to go back home. Now, this man's account is raw. He is telling the truth. Unlike a lot of men that go to social media and let us know how they are much better off single, how they are perfectly fine being alone. I do believe that this is more in alignment with how they feel. They just don't want to admit it, and they certainly don't speak it in the women's comment section. But they have got to get to the point where they actually hear women's, issues. Like, if a woman says, I am having an issue with this, I need you to shoulder more of the responsibility for chores or parenting. If these men don't start hearing women for like what we're actually saying and not interpreting it as nagging, they're going to end up like this. Even if they can't verbalize it this well. This man is clearly someone that understands how to use punctuation and grammar. He's doing a very good job. However, I didn't feel a modicum of anything. I didn't have an F to give or a damn to spare. I didn't, because I envision the women that have told their husbands specifically what is wrong and what needs to happen. And I see a man, or I envision a man that didn't give a damn in that moment. Now, let's look at some of the comments, because they are more coddling. They're giving the hugs and everything. Master Blaster says, man, I'm so sorry. I know the feeling. A lot of us do. Hell, our kids are grown and gone. We haven't spoken in nearly 5 years. We've both moved on. She lives 3 time zones away. She might be remarried by now. I wouldn't know. Me, I've been through a dozen women since then. And yet sometimes just once in a while, it feels like she's right in the other room. Some wounds never really heal. You just get better at living with them. Good luck. That man is being honest as well. He thought that he was going to go out there and get connected with somebody, but these connections are fleeting. And I have a feeling that this will continue. Here's the OP saying, thanks, friend. I'm so sorry to hear how many people felt and still feel the same way. From my Reddit to my friends to coworkers, I wouldn't wish this on anyone with a heart. Solidarity. Here's to our wounds healing one day. Blue Harvest says, I'm right there with you. Sometimes it just hits me so hard, like I'm just going to fall down and never be able to get up. But I keep going because I have a daughter and she deserves a strong dad. I don't want my ex back. But I want the life I thought I had back, because I'm sure that even if he did not like his ex, she was still doing things that made his life easier. They simply don't want to admit that they benefit from marriage. All right, Blue Harvest continues, but since I can't get that, I will make a new life that I want. It will take time. There will be ups and downs, triumphs and failures, but I'll get there. So he's all in and through the comments. People are wishing him well, and he's saying that he appreciates them and all of that. Well, the woman who sent me that post told me to go through his post history. So back when he was still still married, he posted in the marriage subreddit saying, wife needs space and time. I need clarity and certainty. All right, so he says, my wife recently looked at me with a cold detachment I'd never seen in her eyes before and said that she needed time and space to think. The time and space is breaking my heart. We're both 40, married for over 10 years with a 7-year-old child. I truly love her, but we've had our problems. She feels like she has not been heard or her feelings respected. I feel like I need more affection, hugs, kisses, saying I love you, sex, and general interest. Recently, after feeling we were making progress and then regressing into us both being cold, I knew we needed to do something different. So I bought and read through some couples therapy exercise books, which really opened my eyes on how I've been at communicating. I suggested we work through them together. When can you make time for us, my love? She looked at me, a mix of sadness, reluctance, and fear in her eyes, and insisted on having a marriage counselor present for any conversations. Her reluctance hit me like a gunshot into the heart. I foolishly stammered that we can start before a counselor. Let's at least talk. She said she needed space and left to spend the day at her best friend's. I cried in despair like I'd never thought I could the whole time. When she returned, I went outside and hugged her fiercely and tearfully and sincerely apologizing for whatever I did to bring us here, and told her I was committed to make amends and ready to do whatever it takes to save our marriage. Counselor, absolutely. Big changes, done. She looked into my eyes the entire time, cold and distant, then said, I hear what you're saying, but I do need time and space to decide what I want to do. That is very HR-ish right there. He says, I literally gasped as I thought I saw the word separation or divorce flick through her eyes and reach her tongue, but she never said it. Did I imagine it in my catastrophizing? Is she just too scared to say it, or did she really need space and time to sort out her thoughts? So we already know that it did end in divorce. Another post in the divorce subreddit saying, my wife told me she'd filed. I've had a tough few years with my wife, dealing with anxiety and depression, constantly seeking support and intimacy from her. She isn't the confrontational type. And while she showed me her unhappiness in subtle ways, to me, who needs to be bonked on the head, I didn't recognize it because I was consumed with my own struggles. I kept asking for more until earlier this month, things came to a head. I was pushing her to do couples workshopping books after noticing her distance on a family trip. She told me she didn't feel safe discussing our relationship without a counselor, but I brushed it off. Then she abruptly left to visit a friend with our child, so out of character and cold that I was shocked. When she returned, she was distant and asked for space. That moment was a wake-up call. I scheduled therapy, got a personal trainer, and focused on being a better partner and father because that coldness scared me deep. For the past month, I felt more positive and even had some good conversations with her, but there was still no intimacy or affection the entire 4 weeks. Today, she told me she filed for divorce last week. She acknowledged and appreciated my progress, but says she's been hurting for too long, and the only way to heal is to no longer be married to me. That's her truth. I handled it calmly, I think. Thanked her for telling me and that I understood why she felt that was necessary. I also apologized and deeply and truly for all the hurt I caused her, that I'll carry it forever, and that I don't want to divorce her. I want to keep fighting. I want to be 10 times the man I was, but I knew and said as much that she would have no reason to believe me, but to watch, because I'm not giving up on us. She just told me she wanted me to be happy and that she wanted to have a calm divorce with no fights from her end. We hugged. Now that night is approaching. She stripped her side of the bed, I guess for the guest room, and I am crumbling. I feel devastated. I don't know what to do. What do you do now? I never thought I'd be here in a million years. What do I do now? When women voice concerns, these men don't listen. They don't listen until women are out the door. Once they are really planning things, once they see the paperwork, just telling them I am unhappy for these reasons and even listing them out is not enough for them. They don't hear that until a woman is literally out the door or packing her bags or whatnot. These dudes better get it together, or so many of them will end up making these types of posts. Anyways, let me know what you think about all of this. Join the conversation. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. Just yesterday, I shared this post of Uppity Negress. She says, it's Men's Mental Health Month, so here's your reminder that I will never care about men's mental health more than they do. And this is an important comment right there to lead off to segue into this next post. The reason why I use that to segue to this post is because sometimes these dudes will know that they need help. They'll know that they're having mental health issues, but instead of getting a therapist or a professional, they'll attach to a woman and expect the woman to do the emotional labor for them. And so we have this woman right here. She's 22 and she broke up with her man. She says, am I the a-hole for breaking up with my boyfriend while he says he's mentally struggling and going through things? She's 22, he's 25. So she says, so I recently broke up with my boyfriend of 3 years yesterday, and I'm completely messed up about it. He says that I've left him when he's struggling mentally, and half of me feels guilty, but half of me knows also I've been drowning emotionally for months. So now I'm wondering if I'm the a-hole. When I first met him, he was great. He was very ambitious and goal-oriented. I was 19, he was 22, and he seemed very mature and spoke frequently about having his life figured out. We were happy for the first 2 years we were together. He was outgoing, busy, and even really emotionally invested. I felt like we were co-equals and partners. But over the last year or so, everything changed dramatically. It wasn't some one-time thing, just a slow, steady fall. He started to get lazy, like extremely lazy. He quit going out and just quit trying in general. He started complaining about everything, saying he thinks he's burnt out or that he's not able to do things like he used to. And I listened because I wanted to be understanding. I was the one who started doing everything, such as cooking, cleaning, and organizing things to do. I reminded myself that this is what you do with partners. We ride out the bad times together. But the bad time never fixed itself, and he never did anything to improve it. In fact, he just stopped trying at all. He started diagnosing himself incessantly with things like ADHD, depression, trauma response, nervous system burnout, executive dysfunction, all from TikTok and Reddit. But every time I asked him to see a doctor or a therapist, he'd refuse and just get infuriated. Every time I tried to tell him how much stress it was putting on me, he would complain that I was making it all about me. If I would ask him to meet me halfway, suddenly it was, you don't get what I'm going through. You're just making me feel like I'm broken. He even started saying things like I was pretty much his mom at this point when I was doing all of the work for the two of us, like that was funny. I became emotionally drained. I recently explained it to him that I didn't feel like I could go on, that I did love him, but I did not feel I was the best thing for him anymore, that I was unable to give the kind of support that he needed, and it was not being fair to either of us. Remember, she is 22 years old. She should not be his caretaker at 22 years old. Now he's telling mutual friends that I left him in a mental health crisis and that I only cared for him when he was high functioning. That one gets to me, even though I know how hard I tried. I was with him for months when he was struggling, maybe even a year, but there was a time when I wasn't even in the relationship anymore. I was caretaking him and had no room. I still care for him. I wish he would get actual professional help, but I couldn't do my own emotional well-being a disservice to someone who wouldn't even try to help himself. And yet I feel bad. I know people behave horribly when they hurt, and I know he does hurt, but it doesn't invalidate the fact that I felt neglected, alone, and emotionally depleted for a very long time. Now he's been emailing me with a completely new email address and spam texting me on other apps like Snapchat and Instagram, and even texting me in group chats. I've already asked him to leave me alone, but he continues to send me long emotional messages saying I've ruined him or that he doesn't know who he is without me. It's getting to be too much and very intrusive. I haven't responded, but it's making it hard to move on in a peaceful way. So am I the a-hole for shutting it down while he says he's struggling, and should I have just stuck it out? Absolutely not, but let's look at the screenshots that she provided. These screenshots are something else. This whole woe is me type of thing, like literally has me blinking like, oh my God, this would be draining to anyone. He's in the black saying, I just don't think you get how hard everything is for me. It's not just laziness. I think I actually have ADHD or something. My brain doesn't let me function like a normal person. And when you get annoyed at me for forgetting stuff, it makes me feel worse. And she says, all I said was it hurts when it feels like I'm the only one holding things together. You can be struggling and still take some responsibility. And he says, but that's the thing. I can't just take responsibility like that because I'm overwhelmed all the time. I've been reading about it and it explains so much. Don't ignore me. This is why I don't really clean my place or can't reply to people for days. It's not on purpose. She says, okay, and I respect that, but you can't keep reading stuff online and calling it a diagnosis. Have you actually spoken to a professional yet, or are you just reading articles? He says, wow, okay, you don't believe me, do you? I open up to you and the first response you give me is to go to a professional? Bruh, that sounds super invalidating. It sounds like you think I'm just making excuses. This is the reason why you can't care more than they care. She says, I'm not invalidating anything. I'm encouraging you to get real help. You do struggle, and I see that, but you shut down every time I ask for something from you. You ignore me, then come back and act like you're acting this way is something I just have to accept. You don't ever apologize. I'm sorry, you don't even ever apologize. He says, I'm trying, but every time I open up, you make it feel like I'm just whining. I literally said I'm depressed, and your response is always to basically try harder. Do you know how hard that is to hear from someone I'm meant to be able to confide in? She says, I never once said to try harder. I said you need to be accountable when things are hard. Mental health is not a free pass to cuss me out every time I try to help you. You say I don't support you, but that's so untrue, and you know that. He says, so what you're saying then, you don't want to be with someone who's mentally ill, because that's what it sounds like. She says, no, it's not that. I want to be with someone who takes ownership. Okay, at the bottom, she says, I don't care if someone's going through something. We all go through stuff. Okay, I know that this is getting long. She says, not someone who says, I'm going through something, so don't expect anything at all from me. You want me to be gentle all the time, but give me nothing but harshness and cruelty. He says, wow, I didn't think you would be so cold about this. I'm literally telling you I'm not okay, and you're making it all about you. Maybe I'm just not emotionally strong like you. Maybe I'm just weak. Hello, bruh, why are you ignoring me? She says, sorry, I was doing my hair, and no, you're not weak for struggling. It's just immature that you're avoiding the hard work and using your pain to avoid accountability for your actions. I've spent so much time being patient with you. I'm skipping some of it, obviously. He says, bruh, what? So you're leaving because I'm having a hard time? That's cold even for you. And she says, I'm not leaving because you're struggling. I'm leaving because you expect me to deal with it all of the time without actually trying to get professional help. He says, so I'm a burden now? Bet. Thanks for confirming that. I'll be praying your next dude will have zero emotions so you don't get overwhelmed. She says, this is unfair. He says, oh, bruh, honestly, it's the blank show. We should sign you up. Oh, my goodness. She says, this is extremely immature. He says, no, it's true. Maybe it's because you have slept around so much at 22 that you're emotionally disconnected. She says, what? I've only slept with 2 people, including you. I'm not listening to this anymore because you immediately attack when something isn't going your way. Take care of yourself, and I hope you get the support you need professionally and not from a partner. And he says, bruh, the dumbest B word ever. Now you're dumping me over text. Bet. I'm not attacking. I'm telling the truth. And he says, blank, so her name, reply to me now, blank, insert her name. Everyone hates me. Maybe I'll just leave this planet and do everyone a favor. This is all manipulation. And this is one of the reasons she's doing a bunch of talking and typing. But the thing is, he's just using this as more and more, like he's getting something out of the engagement. He's getting something out of insulting her. This is not healthy, and I am glad that she's getting away. He emailed her saying, bruh, reply to me now. You're not leaving me like that. You can come talk to me in person and we'll talk it out. With someone this emotionally stable, she did the right thing in trying to block him. She said that she blocked him on the phone, and now he's emailing and texting from random social media platforms. This person does not deserve to be talked to in person. It probably is unsafe. So she's doing the right thing. The reason why I did the majority of these text messages is so you can see that you can encourage someone to get their mental health together, but you cannot be responsible for it. They have to be responsible for themselves. So you have to do what this young lady did and just leave this man alone. Now, I'm not going to do too many of these comments because it did start to get long, but this person, C. Steph Say, says, this is classic verbal and emotional abuse, OP. You are speaking to him rationally, like anyone would. He, however, is not rational, so logic will not work on him. Anything you tell him, he's going to flip and use against you and make you feel like you're the bad guy. There's an acronym for this, DARVO, deny, that anything is wrong, that everything happened absolutely did not happen the way that you remember. Attack, your credibility, that nobody should believe you because you can't be trusted for whatever reason. Reverse victim and offender. They are always the victim, and you and everyone else out there is out there to get them. And then this person gives some resources. If you're interested in those resources, just Google these names. Am I being abused? The cycle of abuse / violence, the power and control wheel. You have got to know and understand what some of these tactics are, because when they start to use these manipulation tactics, it starts to get into your brain like, am I the problem? Was I wrong? Should I stick and stay a little bit? But it's all manipulation tactics. This is not a healthy and supportive relationship, and nobody should be dealing with this until these people are able to go and deal with their own mental health. It is cool to have someone that is supportive, but you can't do everything. They have to do some of it themselves, and you have to be okay with preserving your own mental health. All right, y'all, let me know what you think about this one. Join the conversation. Don't forget, the other day I shared this post from the Good Homegirl. This is a woman that actually follows the page as well. She says, it's been almost 8 months since I called my engagement off. It's been almost 3 months since he moved out. Every single ailment and sickness I experienced not only left when he did, but also hasn't returned. Under her post, she had lots of women making comments, and I made a whole video based on some of the comments of women whose life just changed automatically, or even gradually. Their health improved, their finances improved, their skin changed, they lost weight, all when that relationship ended. And because of this post, I had lots of comments on my YouTube page, and I want to share some of the comments from the ladies under my YouTube video. Jay says, I had migraines when I was married to my first husband. They were visual with a black dot wherever I looked, and then would turn into a crippling headache. I was about to look into a migraine medicine when I got divorced, but after my divorce, I never had another one. So her husband, or now her ex-husband, was causing her to have migraines. Sun, Moon, and Star says, my mom had constant health issues my entire life, multiple bouts of cancer, autoimmune diseases, etc. She so badly wanted to be healthy, ate well, and worked out regularly, all the self-care. She finally died of cancer a few years ago. I wonder if she had left my dad, would she have lived? I think she would have found peace without him. I will not repeat the cycle. BB says, this makes me sad. It actually really does make me sad as well. She says, good on you for breaking the cycle. Pink Puggin says, my mom got sick and died with my stepdad because of how awful he was. His new wife is sick. He got with the new lady a couple of months after my mom died. They were together for 25 years. C16621 says, this is a scientific fact. When women get diagnosed with lupus, one of the first things doctor asked them if they had gotten in a serious relationship or married to a man. Scientific fact now. Men in general are literally bad for a woman's health. The autoimmune scenario is maybe that's 1,000,000% true. Liquid Sunshine at the bottom says, this is definitely true. Lupus is more prevalent in Black women. Oh My Ken says, that's so true. I'm lesbian, but I was in a 4-year relationship that ended over a year ago. I developed stomach ulcers and would break out in hives for no reason. After we broke up, of course, it's all gone. Being around the wrong people will slowly make you sick. At the bottom, Hassanas says, listen, I'm not fond of humans. I have learned my lesson. I will only deal with humans periodically. No permanent. It's just not worth it. Please know and understand that stressors, anger, all of that will impact you. Even if there's no physical harm, it can cause you physical harm, from the inside out. So if you are starting to feel some of these things, examine all of the things around you. Izal says, when I was with my ex-husband, I was getting these weird rashes on my legs. Doctors weren't sure what it was. Turns out the cure was divorcing him. I always remember the saying, before you diagnose yourself with a mental illness, make sure you aren't just surrounded by a-holes. Same thing for physical illness applies. Stress will do a number on your mind and body. Cruz K says, my friends were worried that I had a drinking problem. Nope. Turns out I just had an unhappy marriage. SJ says, the first story reminded me of an actress, Tisha Campbell, who several years ago was diagnosed with sarcoidosis, an inflammatory disease that attacks a person's organs, particularly the lungs and lymph nodes. Tisha was still in a difficult marriage when she was diagnosed and says she got sick a lot. However, she says since her divorce, illness has been in remission and she hasn't gotten sick. Coincidence? I doubt it. Grunge Galactica says, maybe this is why doctors don't care about our symptoms. They say try to reduce stress when they should be saying dump him. And then at the bottom, Nubukwa says, honestly, the doctors being men too would probably get dumped too. So they definitely wouldn't advise women to leave men alone. Tamik Kaur says, I'm always saddened by the health issues that come with living with a man. I know a few women who have autoimmune diseases and other health problems. They all live with men, but the men are healthy and thriving. Wild, because many of the times men attach to a woman and literally suck her life force from her, whether it be time, energy, or resources, and literally just their life force, just so they can actually live. Because you see what's going on with these men who are dating and still looking to attach to a woman. They look haggard. They look terrible. And so this does kind of go along with those nightmare dating profiles that I do. The ones who have been single for way too long look a hot mess. And honestly, this is one of the reasons why men who are in relationships have the time and energy and space to cheat, because they still look put together. So they think that they can go out there and then just get all of the peaches that they want. But then, once their woman leaves them, they start looking haggard and disheveled as well. Chanel says, I developed psoriasis when I was married to my second ex-husband. That and I had 2 allergic reaction events. The allergist said I wasn't allergic to anything. My ex and I have been divorced 2 years now. My psoriasis has gotten better and I've no more allergic reactions. I'm now focused on raising my kids, upping my spiritual game, increasing my money, and leveling up. I'm 3 years celibate, no men allowed. Navidiology says, I used to throw up every single day when I was in a toxic relationship. And I was also down with cold and fever every few weeks, so much that I had to be on antibiotics. And after that, after I got out, it has never returned. Never been that sick or down with that kind of strange cold/fever situation. Never, not even during COVID, the COVID pandemic. I was healthier instantly. Men really are our biggest predators and nastiest parasites. Wow. Jocelyn says 100. Our bodies tell us everything we need to know. Sunny G says, once I left, the quality of my sleep improved tenfold. And we do know that lack of sleep can also cause all kind of health issues as well. And also, as you can see, there are all kind of comments underneath this one post. This post really got women talking. And I'm doing this because I want women to know and understand that they should not stay in these sucky relationships. I know some people want to keep it together for the kids, or they get shamed. Well, sometimes divorced people get shamed or whatever. They don't want to look bad or whatever the reason. But staying in a sucky situation can literally impact your health. In some cases, like a couple of these comments, we've seen that women have actually died. These men are literally sucking the life force from women. Don't allow that to be you. I'm going to end it with Sammy. Sammy says, I was so sick I almost died. I didn't realize how much he drained me. It's not until we broke up he noticed I wasn't sick anymore and pointed it out. I look so much younger and happier since my divorce. I'm going to leave it there. I want women to know and understand it is perfectly fine to choose yourself. It's perfectly fine to have a sense of self-preservation. Do not allow a parasite to attach to you and literally attack you. Choose yourself. Join the conversation. Let me know if you have any stories that you want to share. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this with other people. Share this with other women so they can know and understand that it's not just something that you have to get out for, for happiness sake. Sometimes it's also about your health.
I already took off my bra. I already took off my pants. I'm not putting my clothes back on. No, not a chance. I'd rather be at home.